Lucy, how's it going?
Great intro.
There's the intro.
You need to build it up more than that. Like, come on, the fan favorite, the Discord fan favorite, everybody's, winner pick going into this season. The one, the only Lucy. Come on, give her
Thanks for having me on
intro.
the show.
Applause.
Lucy, legend has it that you're on an island right now, and you're surviving.
I am. I built this house myself. I'm surviving. I haven't seen anyone in a year and a half.
Wow.
You really spent a lot of time proving a point.
Yeah, you're thriving. You got like electricity there, like that's a nice window and paint and everything. Wow.
Nice and sturdy.
You learned woodworking in your free time.
Mm-hmm.
No, I actually do live in Vermont now, so I am. That is pretty outdoorsy. So
Yeah.
That is.
I'm leading the survival right now. So.
What led you to Vermont?
I have a job. I'm now a process engineer for a company out in Burlington, Vermont. So It's an awesome place. It's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
You ever go to Ben and Jerry's?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I do. Actually, my apartment that I used to live in was owned by Ben Cohen, founder of Ben and Jerry's.
Whoa.
Small
That's
world.
crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know much about Vermont, but it looks pretty. I'm looking it up. You said Burlington, Vermont?
Lots of maple syrup. Very nice people. Lots of mountains.
You ever listen to the band Fish? I know they're from there.
Yes. I've really gotten into some jam bands.
Hell yeah.
Yo, should go see Fish with
yeah. We literally are seeing Fish.
Seattle.
You should come out. Yeah, we should plan one.
Hit some slopes because you ski out in Vermont a lot, right?
Yes. East Coast skiing, which is a little bit different than West Coast, but a ton of fun. So I go like every weekend or so.
Oh, that's a lot.
That's awesome.
Wow. Are there a lot of kids like our age in Vermont?
Yes, there's UVM is right here.
Okay.
And then at my company, there's a lot of young employees, which is very nice.
Gotcha.
Right on. So usually we ask kind of like, what have you been up to since All-Stars, which was 3 years ago now. So, you said you moved to Vermont. Was that after COVID?
Yes, because I graduated in 2021.
Okay.
So it was right around that summer. Things kind of went back to normal. I think I had to wear a mask at work for a couple months, and then that kind of subsided. That was like right around the vaccines. Everyone was pretty much vaccinated. Vermont at one point was like #1 vaccinated state.
Okay.
Go Bernie.
Wow, fun fact.
Yes.
Go.
But yeah, I've just been living out here, getting to know the land, the lay of the land here, away from the Midwest for the first time, which has been a lot of fun. And yeah, just exploring and checking it out. That's pretty much what I've been up to.
That's awesome. Have you been back to Ann Arbor since you graduated?
When we had the Survivor reunion in Ann Arbor, that was the last time I've been back. I've been meaning to go, but I just, with all my other vacations and stuff, you only get so many days off. I'm trying to work it in at some point.
It gets harder the further away you are from Michigan or from the Midwest too. It's it takes so much effort to get over there, and then it's also I have to see my family and I have to see all these my high school friends. It's it gets so much harder.
Yeah, honestly, all four of us are really far from home now.
We are.
We're literally just on the edges of the U.S.
And
we're from the middle.
That's true. It's dispersed.
But so I assume you've been watching the season.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been liking it? Is it what you expected? Is it everything you dreamed?
I'll be completely honest. I was a little nervous.
Okay.
When it was first airing, just because it had been so long. I feel like I changed a lot from, season 2 until All-Stars, and now graduating and everything. I just feel like I've grown so much since All-Stars since we filmed All-Stars for All-Star airing. But I was a little nervous on how everything was going to go down, but You know, I think Ian did a fantastic job putting it all together. I really feel like the storylines and the way he tells it, I think gives a pretty accurate description of kind of how it all went down. It's a lot of fun to see everyone's faces on the screen again.
Yeah.
And you know, you always learn more seeing everyone's footage. You're like, ooh, that's what happened, or that's what they were thinking. So it's been a lot of fun. It's definitely turned out a lot better than I expected.
It's awesome.
That's good. What's been your favorite episode to watch so far?
Well, like love, hate, like when I played my idol, and like just like that whole episode, just because like I knew it was very fun to see that play on screen. I think is the reason that would be my favorite.
Yeah, and it almost worked if Jackson had voted the right way.
We were so close. We were so close. That would have changed the game completely. I think about that moment all the time. I know you always can go back when you look back on the games you played and like those one small decisions or anything.
Yeah.
That really could have changed the game completely. But I think if that went the way, like perfectly executed the way we wanted to, I don't even know how the game would have turned out.
Right.
Well, you definitely would not have been voted out due to Cooper's advantage. That's for sure. Because Cooper would have been out of the game. There's no.
Yes. And there's behind that scene, I always kind of, one of my biggest regrets of that part when I got voted out is, you know, not lying to Andrew and like not pretending like I was going along with it. I feel like I really set myself up. And like I didn't even, I felt like it was such a sure thing that he was going to go home since it was a 3-person vote. What was it, 5 days in reality? Like in between the time that I played my idol, and then that night we got on the teams and we played our challenge. And then I want to say like 2 days later, we had to decide the vote, right? Or like something. It was, so that all those days, I think there's a lot of things that would have made big differences in the game. But, you know, it played out how it played out. So can't really do much about that.
Yeah, and it was, the challenge was a memory challenge, right? And like, you're really good at those. I know you were like fighting for your life in that challenge, but I feel like Leia and Andrew weren't as good, and so they kind of like, I forgot if they got any, but like, I remember you being really good at memory challenges. So I was like, Lucy's got this, like they're gonna win.
Yes, so but sad. we were like a team of 3 versus however many they were, so we were down. And I do think that Leia and Andrew definitely at least felt safe. Or safer, so like they weren't trying as much, and I knew that if we didn't win that or if we lost that completely, bad things were gonna happen. So
you seem like so like frantic in that challenge.
So
like you're just like tapping your hair, just like like pulling out your hair, like freaking out.
Yeah, because I mean everyone had just turned on me at that moment. And like those two had just done it, and I was like,
"That's true."
At that point, it was still very mixed in the air. Like I knew Leia had a part in telling everyone, or like telling you, Sam, and getting Adam to give me the idol. Like I knew some of that was going on, but like in the moment, I still don't know. And then I'm like, is she feeding lies? Who's telling the truth? And I really felt like it was like me trying to save myself in that moment. So it was a valiant effort, I think.
It was. No, you honestly like, I mean, I forgot, everything did happen so quickly and so chaotically that like, I definitely can understand, like, especially watching it back now, like I can understand why you and Jackson were like just confused about what happened, because the way it was explained by Kevin and Adam was like, right before tribal, didn't make a lot of sense. Like it was just like, okay, like here's this wild plan, like idols and fake idols, and vote for Cooper, and like everyone turned on you, and like here we go, we're at tribal council now. Like I don't know, did it feel chaotic to you in the moment?
Oh, extremely. I had, when Adam came up and he, as you said, was like telling me this grandmaster plan and like was trying to explain to me why Jackson was going to vote Cooper, and I knew that like that wasn't going to happen in any chance, but I'm like, I knew that everyone was going to be voting for me, so I was like, I'm writing down Cooper's name regardless, because honestly, I was a little pissed off at him. And I was like, that man's gonna feel it. So whether or not Jackson votes or not, it'll still be like us two voting. Like our 2 votes versus everybody else's.
Right.
So it was so many things. Like I knew I wasn't trusting it, but at that moment, that's the only thing you have to go on to trust. And like, here's Adam giving me his idol, which like I knew was real, and like that meant a lot. And like I knew I was in danger, and I was being blindsided like back and forth by so many people. So then I knew it wasn't going to work. I knew there's a very low chance of it working, but when that's your lifeline, that's your lifeline. So
That's true.
Going close to working.
Yeah.
Jackson knew where the votes were. He just like
did he though?
Maybe he did.
I don't
He
think
did
he
know
really,
where the
I don't
votes.
think
I thought he was confused. Yeah.
After
if
he was
knew,
voted
he would have
off.
voted Cooper.
Well, he was voted off. He said like, I knew where the votes were. Like I should have voted for him. But I don't know. I'm interested in what Jackson has to say about it. But I'm pretty sure that the thing that threw him off was the fact that his idol was fake. So he no longer like really trusts the plan. And maybe he thought that your idol was also fake, Lucy. That's the thing that confuses me, because regardless of whether or not he like trusts the plan, if he knows you're playing an idol, which he did, like he should know that like, oh, like now I'm in trouble because like Lucy was supposed to go home.
Mm-hmm. I always wondered that if Jackson kind of like, he might have known where the votes were going, but he must have also thought like, oh, if I do vote for Cooper and it doesn't work out, like say I don't vote for Cooper, then you are red flag, like, hey, vote me out next, you can't trust me. I always think that's kind of what happened to me. Because, I voted for Cooper, and then, Cooper was like, you're dead to me, like, you're gone.
Yeah.
So.
I agree. I think it makes sense that, like, a lot of people did seem to be afraid to, like, say his name out loud. Like, I remember after it tied, like, it seemed kind of like Sarah wanted to vote for Cooper, but like, I don't know, like people just like, nobody was saying anything out loud about it other than you, really. Like even Jackson wasn't really fighting for herself. Like you were kind of saying like, this is our only chance to get Cooper out. Like we can get Jackson out at any time.
Yeah, as me throwing out Cooper too, I did think scared a lot of people, which I never understood why. Like as I said, like that would get Cooper out, but then so many people were like, oh no, we can't get Cooper. I'm like,
it's like you got to get him out at some point, or he's gonna, make it to the end.
So
yeah. Well, I guess like speaking of Cooper, going into the 3-person vote, were you aware of the Phantom vote at that point?
No, I was not. It hadn't really been like mentioned to me at all. I do know I had a phone call with Cooper where he was like, he was all mad that I had voted him out. And I was like, sir, excuse me. You literally had just tried voting me out.
I know.
Like, yeah.
Oh my God.
What were you, like, you were trying to get me out. He's like, I can't believe you would vote for me. And then he did say something like ominous about something coming to me. And I guess I could have like taken that a little bit more. And I knew that him and Andrew were close, but Andrew and I, like, I could have also voted with Andrew and taken Leia out. That's the thing, like, this is another one of the things about, like, there were so many decisions made in those small amount of days, which could have changed a lot. And I think if I took Leia out in that moment and just went with Andrew, I think that would have been a huge game changer, or, like, a huge turn of what everyone was expecting.
How likely do you think that would have happened, you going with Andrew? Like, do you think Cooper would have found out about it and still used his advantage? Or do you think he would have let it happen?
I don't know. That would go on what Andrew would be thinking and what he thinks the best is, because I don't know. I mean, it was scary to have Cooper, Leia, Sam in there, I feel like Andrew felt threatened by that, especially the Cooper and Leia connection, and so I feel like Andrew and I did float that around and stuff, and you never know if he was actually telling the truth or not, but that's another big what if. I've never really asked him on if he would have done that or not. That'd be interesting.
I feel like it's just so there's nowhere to hide when there's like 3 people. There's only so much you can do. Like literally, it's like 2 versus 1. That's pretty much all that can happen if we didn't have the advantage there.
Yes, yeah.
So
Wait, are you saying like you're not sure whether Andrew would have lied to Cooper about it if like Leia was the target?
right.
Yes, yeah.
That's a good question. Yeah, we'll have to ask him because if the answer is no, then yeah, Leia would have just went home and like
Yeah.
it would have changed things a lot. I don't know. It's interesting.
And he could have played it off where this is like, if that did happen, he could have gotten the phantom vote from Cooper, not used it, voted Leia off, and now he stole Cooper's advantage. Like, it would have been so good.
Right. And like
would've been
imagine if Leia and Cooper had gone home back to back. That's wild. Instead of Jackson and you. Dang.
What ifs? The what ifs.
Because I'm trying to think, if Jackson going home made our team 3, right?
True, because he still would have been there.
Yeah, so then we would have had 4 people. It would have,
Right.
There's so many things like
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. I think
Dang.
that Jackson and Andrew wanted to work together.
that. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about this. So yeah, let's say that like Cooper goes home, and your tribe loses again. Then like, what do you think would have happened? Just like you, Leia, Jackson, and Andrew.
There's so many things, I feel like.
That is so many what ifs. I don't know. I never really worked with Jackson. I never trusted Jackson. Probably would have schemed something. I would have liked to work with Jackson to get rid of Andrew or Leia. I probably still would have gone after Leia, to be completely honest. But I mean, Leia convinced me. I would never vote you out. You can't vote me out, because it did. It got me. Let me tell you, she broke me down and was like, and I was like, sure, Leia, like I won't vote you. Like I could never. And now I'm like, oh, what a fool I was.
I know your last minutes before tribal were so dramatic with like the camera angle, and you were talking like how you didn't want to be a puppet this time around, and I don't think you were your second time around.
No, I definitely think I played a lot better my second time around. But I had seen some comments, and like one thing that I was really proud of and stuff is like the first vote, you know, when Dylan and Aaron went after me, and I was like, don't do that, and then they did that. And I think just like being able to, on first round vote, just being like, I'm not going home, you're like, don't vote for me, that'd be dumb, blah, 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 like getting Sam and Adam to stick with me, we turned that, like, you know, making sure that didn't happen, and then being like, all right, now you're dead to me. Right. And I did see some comments where they were like, oh, well, Lucy didn't really push because she wanted Dylan to go first. And then when they decided it was Aaron, like, oh, she just lets everyone make decisions. It's like, why would I fight that if both of those people I want gone and I don't care what order? Sure, I would I had more of a personal vendetta getting Dylan off, but get rid of both of them. Honestly, Aaron scared me a lot more than Dylan scared me. So I was like, sure, good riddance. And then, like, my hands are clean, like, and I just think that speaks so much to Survivor in general, and how people perceive the way people play games and stuff. Because sure, you can say I was a puppet and I never really knew things, but like I knew that Sam trusted me a lot and would take me places and stuff. So it's like, why would I go against the grain? That's smart of me to survive by doing that. And like also I still played off of that, like, oh, everyone thinks I don't really do anything with this game, blah blah blah. And then, like, you know, and then I get into a pivotal moment where, like, Adam would play an idol to save me. So, like, you could say, like, a lot, but, I mean, there's a lot more strategy than goes on just to, like, agree with something. It's not like people are like, oh, sure, I'll do whatever as long as it's not me. Like, no, I would weigh my options, and I would be like, it's an advantage for me to go along with this plan. Yeah. So, and I don't know if a lot of viewers see that or necessarily. I do always feel like it's the difference between a men's game and a woman's game. Mm-hmm. I will always argue this until the end of days. Yeah. Just men tend to be the leaders, and they had the flashy plans and blah blah blah. And even like Sarah, like in season 2, like you were very great at planning everything and like not really going forward, like not being so forward about it, but like you knew everything that was going on. You had this all behind your back. You never wanted to be the one making the plans, because then people would always be
I know.
they're the ones making the plan, they're a target, like yada yada.
No, it's so true. It's like, even though somebody may not be like the loudest, most vocal about everything, doesn't mean like they're not thinking about how this plan benefits them, and, you know, still doing a lot of strategizing behind the scenes.
Exactly.
And I feel like it speaks a lot of volumes to your game, that, Lucy, that like it seems like over and over people are always trying to vote you off. Like your name was tossed out like almost like every single tribal council you went to, but every time you had like so many good social connections that people were always like willing to like save you, and like we're always like trying to help you out and like do whatever it took to like make sure you didn't go home, because like you built that trust with people.
Yes, and I think that like that again is like people didn't see me as a strong player, so I feel like they saw me as low-hanging fruit, like, oh, let's go and vote off Lucy, blah blah blah. But then other people would be like, okay, but I know Lucy is like going to vote with me, and like exactly what you said, like these social connections and stuff. And honestly, yeah, I mean, I've always known, like, because outside of Survivor as well, just, you know, in person, like just living my life and stuff, people have always assumed that I'm a ditz, that I'm not as smart as I am, or not capable of so much. I don't really have all these independent thoughts. And like I do use that to my advantage at some point. I do think in Survivor, like, once again, like, why would you try to change that when everyone's like, oh, she's not important? Like that to me was kind of my strategy in Survivor. Like, stay. I don't care if you think I'm a ditz, because like I know I'm not.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned that to somebody. I forgot who it was. You guys were talking, and you were like, if they like, they all think this, but like it's not true. But if they think it, we might as well use it to our advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot who you were talking to. Was it Megan?
Is it Nick maybe? Or maybe I thought you were talking about
it was some girl.
Jesse.
Who it was.
Maybe it was
It
Jesse.
might have been Jesse.
I think it was Jesse.
Yeah.
That's definitely.
Yeah, I love that.
I love that, but also I mean I agree with you that like, and it's frustrating that like that it happened to you and Jesse and some other people, and that like, yeah, it's not fair that that people in the game would have this perception that like you were not doing as much as other people when you clearly were, and like how come it specifically is always like the women that people say that about? Like it is like frustrating to watch that, but I feel like if watching the episode and actually seeing things that are happening, you can tell that like, no, like Lucy is set up very well. She has a lot of people that really want to work with her. She's in an alliance, and she's voting off people every single week that are trying to get her out. So like, you know, I feel like your game speaks for yourself. Similarly, gave you an idol. Also, season 2, you also like, when you found the idol with Nick, but also like, literally, people are just like giving you idols left and right.
True.
Like that doesn't happen very often, but like, I don't know. You're able to get Nick to step down and Sarah to step down and give you immunity. It's like, people are always just like handing Lucy immunity. It's like
that's so true. We both trusted you enough to like drop that challenge.
Yes.
And that was a big challenge.
Yeah, and I think that's like one of my favorite things about Survivor in general. Which I don't know. I guess it is my favorite thing, but it's, you know, a love-hate thing about Survivor is like it shows like how the real world acts in like a primal way. You know, like you see these raw ally connections, and like playing Survivor in college has like changed my perception on how people go. But like you see this like, oh, people don't take the women as seriously, or like especially when you get to final tribal and like the jury questions and they're like, what did you do, and blah blah blah. And I think that like it's just funny because like that is you see that in real life too, but it's not as prominent. It's not as, you know, Survivor vote people out, make alliances, and be filmed through the whole thing. So it's really interesting. It's like Survivor is one of the best like social experiments to me, like social study that you can really like. It's real life. It definitely is.
Yeah.
It is. It's like it's like real life, but like even more, like so much more intense. Like everything about real life, like it's just like times 100, and then it's also on film.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
and
then the competition and challenges, and there's like the physical aspect and the social aspect, and it's very interesting. It's a great experiment.
yeah, and I feel like with All Stars, it's even more. There's another layer because there's the friendships outside the game that are being
For
tested.
sure.
So it's just even more
Yeah.
complicated.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the things that makes All Stars, I think, like very interesting, but also like I don't know, tough to watch sometimes, controversial. Like everyone is coming in with relationships. Some people have more relationships than others. Some people hate each other. Some people like there's just like all this like there's just all this other stuff going on, you know.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think it makes it interesting, but it's also just like a lot to watch it, especially like 3 years later. I'm like, wow, like we
3
were all
years
so
later
insane.
is like, and
I
everyone's
know.
babies. I look at myself on the screen and I'm like, wow, like I thought I had grown so much since that season 2, and I'm like, I didn't even know like what was coming.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh man, watching season I don't even know watching season 2 would be like such a treat.
Oh my
I
gosh.
haven't
Well, especially for you because
seen
you
that in
were
a
a
long time.
freshman.
yes.
Like at least I was a senior at the time, but like this was like you were so young. That's
Mhm.
it's wild. Jack, any Discord questions? We asked the Discord if they have questions
Yes.
for people.
I do have a few questions. So,
Wait, before we start this, I can only do like 10 or 15 more minutes. Like I gotta be like out.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
We can
that's fine.
speed
Just some
round.
Discord
We'll
questions.
speed around the Discord
Speed
question.
round. So, what's your opinion on we kind of talked about this already, but your opinion on the general fan reaction to you?
Oh, I love my fans. That makes me feel so good and funny, and it is interesting being a reality star, so to speak. They're never gonna get the aspects of it, but I'm really glad that a lot of the fans can see me a lot more than I think at least like even some of the players saw me throughout the season, and they really have my back. They're very nice. They root for me. Fan
They
favorite.
really do, yeah.
So I'm very glad about that. That I think if I had fans that, I mean, there are people that think I'm dumb and don't think I'm do good moves and don't really like me, but for those that like me, it's very fun.
Didn't you run into some fans at like some OSU?
Oh, I met the
fans?
OSU host.
Yeah.
During the OSU Michigan weekend one time at Skeets. Oh my god, I have a picture. Maybe I'll send it to you guys. You guys can put in a little prompt thing. But yeah, and it's recognizing people outside of Survivor, which has happened a few times, more so on campus. Hasn't happened outside, but it's a ton of fun.
And I love seeing like you have some great like GIF moments of you just
Yeah.
Someone sent me a fan edit of myself.
Oh, you got a fan cam?
I sent that to all my friends. I was like,
yeah, was it the one where you're like on the phone with Dylan, like telling him like,
and then it's like,
if you don't,
and I'm like,
if you vote for me,
and I'm still here, you're dead. And then it's like,
he really wanted to work with Lucy.
And I'm not telling you, I'm not begging you, don't put my name down. I'm just telling you, you better be 100% confident in your plan, because if it goes wrong and I'm still here, you're dead. You're gone.
Yeah, so I guess like what were your kind of like long-term plans in the merge if you had made it to the merge? Like who do you think you would want to like sit with at the end? Like, who were you gonna cut at different points? Like just kind of in a general idea, like what was your long-term plan?
Okay, I really wanted to. I know immediately I wanted to work with Bree more, because I hadn't really gotten the chances with the teams and whatnot. So I really wanted to work with her. I think I would have stuck with Leia a lot more probably. I just know she would have sucked me right in. Sam, you were honestly my ally. I would have taken you to the final, and I would vote for you to win.
Same
I think that would have been my plan. I think you, yeah, that was one of my wishes at the time. I think I would have not gone for Cooper. No, sorry. I would not stick with Cooper, or I would not be Cooper's ally, even before that whole mess with the idols and him voting me out and stuff. I just never, and like nothing personal against him. We've talked about this whole time. It's the whole thing we're talking about with being friends outside of the game and stuff. But Survivor Cooper, I hate. I absolutely hate.
Yeah.
And I think Andrew. I think I want to work with Andrew. So the two people that ended up, I guess Leia never really turned on me, but that ended up ruining my game. I would have stuck with them.
That's
awesome.
Lucy, I loved our, by the way, like Slam Alliance, like so great.
That
fun
was
to watch that.
That was
finally named Alliance. I would have never voted you out. It was like I was so sad when you got out. It was I was so sad. But like
I was worried for you guys too.
Yeah.
When I went home, I was like, oh no, what's gonna happen with you guys? So everyone's gonna have to see.
I think you and Leia came to my apartment after tribal council and like told me what happened. I was like, you're joking, right? Like there's no way this is real. You're like, nope, like I'm out of the game. And I was so like, I was like, don't tell me this. Like, no, this is horrible.
Wait, Sam, didn't you know about Cooper's advantage?
No, nobody knew about it.
Why did I think people knew about this?
You didn't tell remember Cooper said, keep it in your pants, don't tell anybody about it.
So literally nobody knew about it ever until he played it?
No.
Until he told Andrew.
He told Andrew. That's it.
He's conniving. I mean, he's good at that game. I'd also like to clarify just for the viewers, when we did go over to Sam's, this gets into the whole friends, not friends, but I was like, I got voted out, and then I just sat, I was like, no, I can't talk. Like, we had a lot of integrity on making sure I wasn't the one talking. It was Sam and Leia were the two talking about it. And then we have a rule where after we talk about Survivor for a while, we're like, all right, no Survivor talk. We could only talk about non-Survivor related things. So then we just got into that and just had a night because I just got voted out.
Oh. Yeah, at least, wait, you're on the jury though.
I was,
right?
Yeah, queen of the jury. That's like a
first juror.
First person.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I made it that far.
Yeah.
Let's see. A couple more quick questions. So if you were on like a different tribe to start, like if you start on Sangria or Odawa, who do you think you would have been allied with?
Okay, I need to remember who's on which teams.
Sangria had like Leia, Jackson, Will, Kevin. Yeah, it was like the OG about to be villain tribe, I feel like.
I guess even more like just kind of generally, if we don't have to go into like tribe specifics, but like who did you really want to work with coming into the season?
Honestly, I wanted to work with Will more. I always thought he was pretty fun. I always also thought that I could manipulate that boy pretty well. Just in terms of, I think he would go along with, or he would think he's the mastermind doing things and I'm his little minion, similar to like Jesse and everything. So I would have liked to work with him. Kevin, I would have also liked to use, because I don't think I would ever trust him. But like, it's always funny to like work with Kevin, but not work with Kevin.
Cerulean reunion would have been great.
even when we were in Cerulean, though, it was like, Kevin, what are you doing? See, like Kevin would be an example of like a man just trying too much.
He knows it too.
And then he would get himself into pickles, and it would be like everyone would knew exactly what he was thinking and whatnot because he was doing 17 things at once. So that's just my 2 cents on that. I think I would have liked that team. I would have gone with them. I think that would have been fun. I don't know if they would have tried targeting me first, but I think that they were all so alpha in a sense, if you know what I mean. That I could have been beta under someone's wings and they'd be attacking each other like hyenas. So
Yeah.
That's great. I feel like you honestly like would have. I think you could have done really well in like any of the tribes.
I
Like,
think so
Mhm.
too.
thinking
Like,
about it, I feel like you really would have been able to find like where you would fit in, and just like you said, a lot of people had big egos. Like, and they would have probably thought that like, yeah, you would just do what they said, and like you said, you. I don't know. You had the social connections. You had the social game.
and I also think it's just so funny how things worked out, because I think if I was on my original tribe and like Sam, you weren't, I think I easily could have gone home very
That's
first
true.
round, like so easily. Because like I necessarily didn't have that like Adam connection. Like we had never played a game or something.
Yeah.
I think just having Sam, you and I having our backs, each other's backs from the beginning, I think that's what made our tribe successful, or at least like the SLA part of Slam,
Yeah. No, remember like, I mean, like, yeah, that first week, like, I was like, I'm not gonna let Lucy go home. And then like at the next tribal, like you were like willing to go to rocks for me, and it's just like, oh, like that's like real alliance, like we're gonna
we
do
had a
what
real
it takes to
alliance,
keep each other in
Sam.
the game.
We had a real one.
Yeah. That's what gets you. That's what gets you through it.
It's true.
But by the way, remember that tribal council? I don't think we talked about that, but like, I was so certain that Adam was going to vote me off. Like, I don't know. I don't remember. Like, what did you think in that moment? Like, did you think that it was that like Megan was going to flip back, or like, what did you?
I talked to
think?
Adam like before that and stuff, and we had talked about it, and I feel like I was pretty confident. I remember I didn't think Adam was going to flip. I was more concerned on Megan and how much Megan and Jackson were kind of in on it. But I also feel like they had a dooming sense where they knew where the other side was headed. And that other side was heading to like getting voted out. So I think if either of them flipped, it would have been pretty rough for them. And I think they knew that. I think they picked, I was pretty confident that they were going to pick the smartest decision for themselves, which was us at the time.
Yeah. You were more confident than I was.
Well, it's always scary, when it could be you,
I know.
was like, the first round, I was like, is Adam going to vote with us? I'm nervous wreck, even if I didn't show it, so.
You definitely, I mean, like, watching the episode, like, you're, like, sitting there, like, kind of, like, smirking, and I'm just, like, I'm gonna die, like, put my head in my hands, like, I'm out. You're like, no, it's fine. Maybe you're just put on you had a better brave face than I did.
Yeah, you guys are both part of some really intense tribals this season.
Yeah.
We were tribal, like, we had so many tribals.
Connie was so
I know,
chaotic,
literally. I
and
mean,
so
you had
dramatic.
3 people left on your last one. Like,
Yeah.
dang.
Yeah. It was a lot. And there was a whole, like, you and Dylan, like, not being on the same page, and, like, there's just, like, a lot of...
I don't know why he was being silly. He doomed himself not to join with me.
Good.
So it did feel good getting him out. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does feel like you had a full season's worth of experience, even if it was just the pre-merge,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
between everything.
That did not feel like just a pre-merge.
Yeah.
Well, no, she got to the merge, kind of.
Well,
No,
kind of.
I was
Kind
I'm
of.
pretty sure my vote. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's a spoiler. If you guys were new air this, but I'm pretty sure my vote afterwards emerged, right?
Well, you made the
I
jury.
was first one on jury,
Mm-hmm.
not
Yeah.
pre-merge. Or
Yeah.
pre-merge.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like next time on Survivor. It's like, it's public knowledge, and the merge is
Mhm.
next.
I cannot believe that was just the pre-merge.
Mhm.
It seems like a whole
Like-
season, like, happened.
No, literally.
Yeah, like,
Wild.
the viewers don't even know what's coming. I'm very
I really
excited. And now
don't.
it also, like, puts a little bit of a weight off of me, just because every time an episode would air, I'd be like, oh, is there
It's
going
like,
to be
what
a
did
good
I
one?
say?
Which,
Yeah.
once again, snaps for Ian. I think he did out, like, kicked it, like, yeah, did such a good job. And I'm really excited to see how the rest of the season plays out on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I am excited to see it too. And like, I mean, when you got voted off, like, you're also like, a really good sport about it. You're like, wow, like great move. Like I'm not even mad. Like were you just like
I mean, you gotta like. I always think that. I mean, I'm very competitive and stuff. I think I was a little bit unique in the game in the sense where I always was like, this is a game. This is like a fun extracurricular. Like I never took it too seriously. I think if you took it too seriously, you kind of got hurt too much. Like I always felt like Erin took the game, and that was another reason I didn't really love and never really want to work with her. It's like I always felt like she took the game way too seriously to like it was personally an attack to her to vote and stuff. And I'm like, dude, this is just a silly game we're playing in college and like meeting our friends and stuff. And that was a great move. It was a great play. I mean, that was insane. That was good, good play. And I'm like, that was an iconic way to go out. I was like,
that's true.
Right.
Very memorable. Yeah.
What was it like getting your torch snuff for the first time? Because you didn't get your torch snuff last time.
I know. It was like I was like, pre-merge too. That's what really got me. I was like, but then I knew I made jury, so I was like,
right.
Yeah.
And also, it did feel nice in a way that I didn't go out on like a backstabbing way. Like I said, like I had told Andrew I was voting with Leia. Like I feel good that I at least went out honorable.
Yeah.
And it was almost like there's nothing you really could have done. Like you know.
I mean, you played that week actually like really well to where I mean you were saying earlier like, oh, you were stressed out like at the challenge, but then you got to a point where like you were pretty much a swing vote. Like both sides were like trying to get you to vote with them. So like that's the best position you can be in. I mean, Cooper having an advantage, like nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
Wait, did you guys see what Ian texted about questions for Lucy? Or is that just a joke? Is there like
I didn't.
He's like asking. So somebody asked, how far did you think AJ and Sam would have taken you?
Oh. Adam, I definitely believe would have turned on me quicker. I mean, Sam, to be completely honest, I never thought you were going to turn on me. I was never going to turn on you. You're ride or dies. Like I said, I would have voted myself out before I voted for Sam.
Why is that? Adam, why is that? Is it just a friendship outside the game, or?
Season 2, Sam always like had my back and stuff. I always felt like Sam respected my game. Okay. That was a big thing, and like, you know, like that was a lot of the reason, like season 2 about voting Mallory over Nick. Like Nick never, I felt like, respected me, you know, and you know, Sam always had that. Sam was, I always felt like, had been a big mentor, and honestly, through the last, like in college, we were like super close and stuff. And I wouldn't do that.
Gotcha.
Sam or Adam, I probably would have gone like 6 or 8 in, like, you know, like definitely get rid of some good chunks. But once it starts getting nitty gritty, then I'd be a little weary of what he was trying to do.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
I feel like I just like really trusted you basically, and like if same like I just feel like we had like a lot of trust in the game, especially after like the beginning. Like bonded us, I think, so much too, to where we both like really like proved we had each other's backs. So I'm like, I'm gonna stick with someone that has my back.
I think that was also extremely telling, because I think going into that, you know, we would talk and be like, yeah, we're gonna be allies and stuff like that. But then like first round, you being like, no, I have your back, and then, you know, like next vote, I'm like, no, I got you. Don't worry, bud. Like we're doing it. I think that definitely had a huge solidifying effect, and that's why I also think like I don't think Adam would have turned very quickly. I just think nature of the beast, that man would turn eventually.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah,
we'll see.
Anything else, Lucy? That like, I mean, I know you got to run, but anything else that you thought of like when you were watching it, or that like you remembered from the game that you really just wanted to like bring up or like talk about? Anything that wasn't shown on screen, maybe?
No, I think this interview, I think I really aired a lot of my things. You know, one thing I would just like to say to the viewers, one, I think you guys have an awesome season ahead of you. I think you guys are going to be very excited for who the winner of All Stars is. You know, you won't see the end of me in Tribal, but I would just like the viewers to keep in mind, like I said, think about the way people are playing games. You know, it's not all you see. kind of think of other reasons why that may be, or who's stronger, even if they're not in the driver's seat. I think that is going to definitely, I don't want to give any spoilers, but I think, would help. And it's also like reality TV. Like we did this took an entire semester, and each week can only be an hour. Like it could be 5 hours, and I don't even think you would get the full story. Which is one of, like, again, one of my love-hate relationships with reality TV. But we're all people too. That's also a thing. We make mistakes, and I would love to challenge anyone who thinks they could do it better. Try it. Do it. Go for it. Let me know how it goes.
Honestly, yeah. That was really good. Really nice way to end this podcast.
Lucy, you're the best.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we got to.
It was so fun. I am so glad I joined Survivor way back freshman year. Survivor has definitely changed my. I don't want to be cheesy and just say changed my life, but it has definitely affected my life.
Yeah.
A lot more than I ever thought it was going to. And
how did you find out about it?
That you guys are, still doing this podcast. We're all still together. We're all talk. We're going to Las Vegas soon.
Heck yes. I booked my flight.
This is a family that toxic family sometimes, but one of the best families I've been joined. So thanks everyone.
Thanks, Lucy.
Thanks, Lucy.